Ireland, did you? Heeb and Goy, Heeb and Goy. Two old men who like to complain. Heeb and Goy, Heeb and Goy. We hope that you will come back again. We're on number 45. That's weird, isn't it? That's a lot.
That's a lot of fucking podcasts.
I know. And at the end of the we're almost to the end of the year. We'll be able to review our predictions. I don't think anything came true.
No, I forgot all about the predictions.
Yeah.
Check
so
1, 2. Can you hear me okay, buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're a little. Maybe turn up your mic a little.
Mine's a little. I could turn up my check 1, 2.
There you
Hot
go.
mic, hot mic. There you go.
Sibilance.
Sibilance.
So we had a pretty jam-packed episode last week. This week it's more of going to be a grab bag. I have a few minor topics to go over to get your impression.
Well, before we get into that, so everybody was talking about Christina's Thanksgiving, so we're not going to review that until we get her back on the show, obviously, right? Like I don't want to dip into that.
I'm going to let her give the full post-mortem on that.
Yeah.
I think we can tease it by saying she did hold her to her bottom line.
We can tease it, and also I would like to tease that me and Dan, Christina had a 3-way chat thing going on the phones message group, and my Thanksgiving was consumed with a play-by-play of what was going on.
Me too,
and it absolutely consumed.
Yeah.
And so it was good stuff, and I can't wait to talk about it, get her back on the air about it, because what she's dealing with is insane.
Yeah, it's tough. I relate extremely well having that disorder all over my family, but it's hard. It's really, really not easy.
But what do you got going on? You got some different things going on?
Yeah, so
you want my feedback on?
Yeah, I have a few little things to show you. Like we're gonna call it the chafe grab bag. Things that annoyed me over the past week or two. And I just I know what you're going to say pretty much, because you and I will agree on all of these, but I always like hearing your unique flair for description. So let's start. We have something here. So,
what's
going on?
This is, we're starting off with another photograph that Dan takes out in public without people's consent. Okay.
Correct.
So what do we,
this is a restaurant. It's a Thai restaurant. See, let me tell you a little pro tip.
Yeah.
I find that if you go to the Thai, the Indian, the sushi places, you're less likely to deal with young children.
True. That is, I completely agree. Thai places, Indian places, it's not a burger and pizza place. They're going to be fussy. So you got a good chance of not absolutely guaranteed.
No.
But a good chance that there might be less irritating children in the restaurant.
Correct. And you and I are the same, as we sort of structure our lives to avoiding young children.
Irritating. Yeah, I don't like them. I'm not a fan.
So as you can see in this picture, there's what appears to be a mother.
Right.
And then an older woman, might be the grandmother.
Probably the grandmother.
And then the child.
Right.
The child is a stuffed animal. The child is planted in front of an iPad or some screen.
It's one of those kiddie iPads that has a big sort of plastic thing around it, so it's just for them to stare at.
Now, under normal circumstances, I'm torn on this, right? Because on the one hand, I feel like you're abdicating your parental responsibility by putting them in front of a screen. But on the other hand, they're trying to keep the kid quiet in a restaurant, which I do appreciate.
Sure.
But the problem is the kid, I just said quiet. Did I not? I used that word.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is
that iPad's on full blast. Yeah, and it's an irritating like it's some sort of
correct. I for the life of me, Bruce, can you imagine?
Just a kid.
Like let's say for sake of argument, you're in a restaurant. Let's just say Bruce is sitting in a restaurant. He's got his sandwich. He's happy. And I send you a video, and this video says, Bruce, you must listen to this video on full blast, and if you do, you will receive $1,000, right? you would of course want to do it, right? But wouldn't you just be mortified for that 30 seconds or whatever that it's on full blast?
I like this. So Dan knows that I'm poor. Well, maybe I got some money tucked away that I'm not touching till later. But for the sake of argument, yes. And I'm poor, and because I'm a starving artist. And so Dan says, "Listen, buddy, I'll give you $1,000. I know you're in a crowded restaurant. You have to listen to this full blast, and I'll know you have to listen to this dumb video full blast on your phone in your crowded restaurant, and I'll give you $1,000." And you're right. I would do it for the $1,000, but 100%, I would be so mortified and so embarrassed. I would probably turn beet red, knowing that everyone's looking at me. I'm that guy. I'm being annoying. I'm not considerate of anyone else, and that will rub me the wrong way because I hate that so much, and I would become what I hate, and I don't like that. So you're right. That would just drive me nuts.
Yeah, and the part of this that's so crazy to me is these people don't give a single fuck.
It's clear by it's like I'm looking at the photo. It's clear by their sort of, they're
totally at ease. Totally at ease.
This is it.
It's all good. Everything's cool. We're gonna get our crab rangoon in a few minutes. Everything's great. The kid is happy listening to this at full blast. Everything's cool.
So I'm like looking at the photo. So the young mom is sitting next to the kid. The kid's probably like, I don't know, 3-4 years old.
Tops.
Tops. And so the young mom is just staring off into the distance, like just checked out. The kid is watching this propped up plastic iPad, loud cartoons or whatever the fuck. And the mom is sitting on the opposite side of the booth, just scrolling on her phone. So no one's talking. I can tell in the photo, no one's talking, no one's interacting with each other. They're just there. And the kid is like, hey, like this is going on. And Dan is like 2 tables over, like looking at this, just seething, like to fucking turn that thing off.
Like, I don't want to have to be that guy. I don't want to have to be the guy to go up to you and say, look, it's really rude for you to have this on full blast. I'm sorry. Bring headphones for the kid or whatever. But I don't want to be that guy. I shouldn't have to be that guy. We should live in a society where people have some fucking...
we don't, though. That's the thing. We absolutely do not live in that society. We're not a good society. No. It's not. No. We don't care about other people. We don't care about other people in the very least bit. So, like, you went to a Thai restaurant hoping, like, this wouldn't happen. And there it is. It's happening. Now, here's the thing I want to say earlier. Like, they just plopped the kid in front of the iPad because it helps with the parental duties. Now, I had a thought about this because you and I are of the generation, and I know I was like this way too. Gen X kid, I mean, look, my parents plopped me in front of that fucking TV and just said, that's good. Like
but that was at home. You weren't in public.
Right. That's the distinction. But I mean, when I was at home, my parents were probably ill-suited to have children, and they just had children because that's what you do. Mm-hmm. And they just had me, and I was the firstborn. And they absolutely just plopped me in front of the TV and let that TV just keep an eye on me for like hours at a time. And I can get it as a parent. They're probably like, oh, thank God for the fucking TV. I don't have to deal with Bruce Jr., And this is what's going on in today's society. It's like, well, they got these iPads. They could bring them around. And as a parent, I mean, I see this going on in stores, whatever. These kids got these iPads and they are blasting full volume, whatever. And you know what? You're never going to see a kid with the headphones on or earbuds on because the parent cares about if they're irritating someone. Like, never. I have never I've seen this a lot. I've seen the kids with the iPads a lot, blasting loud in public. Never once have I seen a kid with earphones on so as to not irritate everyone else. The parent don't give a fuck. The main thing is the parent just wants to check out. Like, I didn't want to have this kid. I've got this kid. I'm annoyed. I don't want to interact with this kid. Let me just have this iPad in front of him full blast all the time.
And if it weren't for the noise, I would I would think, wow, you're just not parenting, but whatever. Selfishly, I just want you to not have the volume. Right.
I would love if they all wear headphones. This would be amazing for guys like us.
Yeah.
I mean, and I would definitely, if they all had headphones, I would look at them and be judgy and be like, well, you're not doing a good job raising the kid. That iPad is raising the kid.
Correct.
But I wouldn't give a fuck as long as I'm like not irritated by it. But like, yeah, this is just the worst. This is the worst, and it just. I feel for you because I know you're out. Then you're focused on this fucking thing the whole time.
I couldn't let it go. So let's move on to the next example.
Different restaurant, another
different restaurant. This time, instead of a 2-year-old, it's a boomer. The boomer has a phone. She's holding the phone up to her ear. You would think, okay, she's talking on the phone. It's annoying, but whatever. No. It was on speaker.
Like full
and she's
volume.
holding it up, full audio, full blast, and she's holding it up to her ear.
Yeah.
So
and she's taking the call at the. By the way, it's a photo of a couple, old boomer couple, in a booth, sitting across from each other. They got food on the table. She's holding the phone up, and he's just staring off into distance. There's so much wrong with this photo. Like, it's rude. It's rude to do that in public. It's rude to do it to whoever you're having. I don't care if they've been together 40 years. You have a meal together. You put the phone down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like to some extent,
taking a call at all, in my opinion, is a little bit rude. But to have it on speaker while you're holding it up to your ear, and this. Okay, so let me ask you, which situation aggravates you more, the boomer or the toddler?
Boy, that's a really good question because it's close.
It's tight, what I mean? Because it's not the toddler's fault. I'm not angry at the toddler, right?
Yeah.
I'm angry at the mother.
Yeah.
I think the toddler situation might be a little worse because the mother's younger. She should know better. Like, she should have, like, boomers are known for this behavior. This is sort of typical of boomer. Right?
Yeah.
But this really annoyed me for some reason. Like I was transfixed on this couple, and we were behind them in line, and they took an hour and a half to order too. That's another little plus.
I don't know. I think what's going to irritate me more if I had to pick one of the boomers, because it's like
you hate boomers. I love it.
Look, I do hate boomers, but it's terrible. I have a lot of boomers in my life that are like cool. Like, especially I have one. This great friend that I have. His name is Kim Ladd. He's the guitarist in the Grateful Dead cover band. Guy's 72 years old, so he's a boomer through and through. But he's an old hippie, and you would like him because he's a total curmudgeon. The guy hates leaving the fucking house. He's got a dog. There's no wife. There's no kids. And every now and again, I'm like, hey, you want to meet up for coffee? In the middle of the week? He's like, no, that would require me leaving the house. So, like, he doesn't even leave the fucking...
Yeah, I love that.
He's done his work, and he does have to do work every now and again because he gets like Social Security, but it's not enough. So every now and again he does like Uber Eats or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's a total curmudgeon, and you would love him. He's so grouchy. He doesn't like talking to people at the club or whatever. But he's a boomer. And he's got...
of course. I mean, you can't paint a broad brush.
I mean, I do. Of course we do. I mean, we love painting with broad brushes.
Stereotypes are fun, for sure.
Yeah.
But, the standard caveats apply. We know that not 100% of boomers are bad. But the picture encapsulates boomerdom. Like,
yeah. And she is fucking like that. That's the thing. This irritates me more because honestly, she should know better. She should fucking know better. And I just texted you a photo that we'll get into.
I know. I'm cringing already. I'm already cringing.
But anyway, this woman should know better. Because like she was raised of the generation, like it's rude. It's like that's rude.
Yeah.
The phone rings at the table if I'm out with Ro and it's a phone call that I have to say it's like you got to pick up this phone. There's something.
You got
Bruce, it's an opportunity to Bruce to be in like a gallery or something.
Right.
I'll be like, Ro, I got to take this call. And
you leave.
I 100%. Maybe I'll start the call by answering, be like, hello, and then while I say hello, I'm up and walking. I'm like, Ro, I'll be right back. And like I go outside to the front. I take the phone call.
Let me ask you this. So you say they should know better or whatever. Here's the thing. These are boomers. So you're looking at people who are at least 70s, right?
Yeah.
Cell phones became common where most people had them 20 years ago.
Yeah.
By the time that happened, they were our current age, like mid-50s.
Right.
So they went all the way up to now without a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
So the cell phone, even though it is a phone, I find that generation doesn't see it the same way somehow.
But you're absolutely right. They don't see it as a device or communication thing. It's a phone. And that's why she's holding it the way she's holding it, because she thinks it's a phone. I mean, Me and you are of the generation that we know that these devices are. A phone is about maybe 5% of what we think
Oh,
it is.
if that, yeah.
I mean, really, but that's it for these people. It's a phone. My grandkids are calling. They're going to pick it up. You know, I
I
live
don't
next.
know.
You know,
The
this
speakerphone
is
thing.
extremely annoying to me.
Okay, all right.
And I just, but like we talked about it before. Like I had a Facebook friend who posted something about this. Like they're pissed off about it, taking these loud phone calls and stuff. And it's like, look, this is the norm. This is absolutely becoming normal, acceptable, not outlandish, not rude behavior. I mean, it probably started out that way, but so many people are doing it that it becomes, this just becomes a majority rules type of situation, right?
So,
So,
like, rank in terms of like okay. So you have three options if you're the boomer.
all
You
right.
have the regular telephone where it's just a phone and it's not on speaker and you're speaking in it. You have an earbud or some device that they're speaking through, so it looks like they're talking to nobody.
Yeah.
And then the third option is this with the speaker. The speakerphone is clearly the most annoying. But which of the other two would annoy you the most? The headset where there looks like they're talking.
The one where they got the earbuds in and it looks like they're a homeless person just talking out into the
Okay, yeah,
wilderness.
I
Like,
think I'm with you on that.
like if they're like, here's the thing: if they're just talking on the phone and she's holding it up like this, and I can't hear the other part, but she's like, "Yeah, all right, Rebecca, that sounds fine." Like that is not even going to irritate me all that much. Like it will,
A little
but
bit.
nowhere's near
Yeah.
to the fact. Like I've seen dudes at the gym. The worst thing are the dudes at the gym that got the earbuds in, and it's recreational talking. The guy's on the treadmill. Okay, this is a dude on the treadmill. And he knows he's got about 15, he's got to do 15 minutes on the treadmill. So what does he do since he's a vapid, fucking jelly-headed? I'm going to have a conversation with my bro for 15 minutes that doesn't need to happen. Is it like, that's the thing. You could tell if the conversation needs to happen. If it's like yeah, I'll do that when I get home. That's fine. Like, that's okay. That's fine. But if it's like storytelling, like, oh my God. So then the other night, like Rebecca told me that, like, okay, we don't need to have this.
You use Rebecca a lot in these fake calls.
I have no idea.
But
Rebecca
it's like on the brain.
It's like recreational talking, just like recreational nose blowing. Like I don't like it doesn't need to happen.
No,
take it.
It's someone who's trying to pass time, and that's all well and good, but you look like an idiot.
Yeah, so. I'm not a fan.
All right, so we're gonna shift a little. I have more annoying photos, but we're gonna shift a little to something I thought you would have a comment on.
Okay.
So yesterday I was at Rural King. Remember I told you about that? It's where we go.
Yeah, that's the farm store that
paraphernalia.
Yeah, and that you, since Dan moved to some like more of a rural area, Dan is very much the Heeb, but he is becoming more goikishum by going to the farm store.
Yes,
I think it's like it's rubbing off.
Yeah. You know? I like the farm store. So
farm stores. Let me ask you: does the farm store have a bin where they're selling live chickens, like little?
Yes.
Yes. I love looking at them.
Okay. So tell me your thoughts on this, which I encountered at the
farm store. All right, what do we got? Whitman sampler. Okay, so they busted this out.
No. It's not just a Whitman sampler. Look at the scale.
The scale? It's enormous.
Yeah.
It's sampler, about the size. This sampler is the size of a welcome mat, right?
Yes. When I was a kid, I used to love Whitman samplers, and they were too. They used to be the size, probably like 8, 9, 10 inches across.
They would be the size. They would be the size of a desktop keyboard,
or a piece of paper.
Yeah.
This thing.
It's a doormat.
I'm looking at it. Size of a doormat. It has multiple layers. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself,
how much chocolate?
This is insane.
All right. Did you look at the price?
Oh, I forgot.
All right. That thing's easily $35-$40.
Probably. But like,
it's a lot.
I'm just thinking this is where we are as a society. Like, this is like emblematic of the end of an empire. It really is.
It really, I mean, because there's no need for it, right? There is no need for it. The only reason that the people at Whitman's, they probably had a corporate sitting around there talking, they're probably like, what else can we do for this Christmas season? We've got, everybody loves Whitman samplers. We've introduced the new flavors. We've got all this stuff. What can we do? And I've been in meetings like this where they're like idea meetings and they just go around. just throwing ideas out because they need more money, right?
Yeah.
And so they just went around the table. And so at some point, some guy's like, how about we make a really big one? And then the guy writes it down on the whiteboard. Oh, I like that idea, Bruce. That's great. Really big one.
Rebecca, that's a great idea.
Rebecca, that's a great idea. And like, how big? I don't know, 2 feet by 3 feet. And like, you know, we can overcharge for it, you know, and we can make it. Here's another thing. We can make it really big. Most of it's packaging. You open it up, it's actually a lot smaller. But like the shock value of it being big is what people like. Oh, I got a gift from my grandma, and it's this enormous Whitman's. I have all this chocolate. It's great because you know what? More's better. In this society, more is always better, right? Let's make this fucking thing big.
I thought it was cool because it almost made me feel like I was like 3 feet tall or 1 foot tall.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm in this world where everything's huge.
Well, it works on us because we're like, I love Whitman samplers. Now, granted, a lot of the Whitmans, so you crack, I mean, look, there's people that are disgusting that take a bite out of everyone to see if it's one they want. I had an aunt who would like crack them open on the bottom just to get a little, see what's in there. But now the Whitman, I got a lot of opinions on Whitman samplers. Now they have like, if you get one, have you had one recently?
Not recently.
Okay, we got now, Dan. There's this new thing. You get that, and you open it up. There's going to be like a cheat sheet showing.
It always used to have that. It always had a cheat sheet.
Oh, because I remember. I don't remember a cheat sheet.
You must have gotten like you must have gotten the Winco sample.
No, I got the Forrest Gump version. You never know what you're going to get.
The Winco sampler.
Yeah, but like it's huge, and like look, it's huge, and I'm not overly against it, but you're absolutely right that it's like it's just gross.
Yeah.
And it's emblematic of like we're going down, we're circling the drain. We're like a big turd circling the drain, and having a huge ass Whitman's. I mean, look, did you see the Pabst Blue Ribbon 100-pack? I've seen that floating around. They've got this box of Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's a long box about 6 feet long, and it says 100 beers on it. And it's a gimmick, you know, like you got to go with your bro and walk out with this thing. It's like a 6 foot long casket filled with beer. It's 100 beers. So me and my boys are going to have a big old, you know, party.
We're going to drink a lot of shitty beer for
a lot of shitty beer. It's just a big box of all the same thing.
It's like water.
Yeah. But I like the Whitman sample. Some of them are gross. Like some of them have this like light pink taffy in there. And I'm not a fan of that one. No. You know,
no, I just thought the sheer size of it. I'm like, I wonder what Bruce would think about this.
Well, I mean, did you? Okay, I do sort of love the big thing. Okay, they have a chocolate store in Vegas, like a candy bar store, and so they sell the enormous Reese's peanut butter cup. Have you seen? So,
you are correct. It's $37.
I knew it'd be around that much. But you can go into this one store and get Reese's peanut butter cup. That's my favorite is the Reese's peanut butter cups, like one of my top. So they sell only in the Vegas store a Reese's peanut butter cup where each Reese's peanut butter cup is the size of a small cake. But it's a Reese's peanut butter cup. But Dan, it's like this big, and it comes in the orange. It looks the same packaging, orange, whatever. But it's this fucking big. And I told Ro, I'm like, oh, I want that. I fucking was. She bought me one time.
You would die. Thing. Like, are you kidding?
Are you kidding? I ate the whole thing. It was great.
Oh, wow.
It was wonderful. It was great.
All right, let's move on to our next thing that I wanted Bruce's take on. So here we have.
Let me describe.
There's an arrow. You'll notice there's an arrow. So we have a boomer. I'm behind in the checkout
line. Wearing baggy cargo shorts.
This is the Tractor Supply.
Are you? Oh, you're in the Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply.
He's in front of you.
And you'll notice the arrow.
Okay, this guy, what is he writing a check?
He's writing a check.
Yeah, he's writing a check.
So I have to ask, it's 2024.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What's going on, man?
What's going on is that you are in rural. Okay, so this is still a thing. I live, as you know, in a when I see Dan's freaking out because Dan's sending me these pictures and he's like out of a college area and he's like, I have to deal with boomers now. But I've been living in this East Mesa town out here
amongst
in Arizona.
The boomers, yeah.
And I told Dan, I'm like, Dan, it's funny that you're dealing with this because when I go out to a restaurant or a store or whatever, it's easily 85% of people that I'm in the store with are white boomers, old white boomers, 100%. 85%.
105%, 85%.
Right. And so like Dan is like used to dealing with college age kids and different like a variety. And now he's like, wow, there's uptick of boomers. And like, yeah, they're going to bust out the checkbook. Now, yeah, it's 2024. And they at some point, stores got to be like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
I know,
you know
right?
what I mean?
I figured they would have already.
But in Florida, where you're dealing with look, the farm store especially, who's going into the farm store? I bet in the farm store, the percentage of boomers in the farm store, the percentage goes way up just because you're in the fucking farm store, right?
Yes. Do boomers do a lot of manual
boomers
physical labor?
No, but they're in the farm store because there's other things in the farm store besides things requiring physical labor.
Yeah.
Look, I like the farm store. The farm store's got tools. It's got big bags of dog food. It's fun to look at the baby chickens. There's lots of stuff for the dogs. There's stuff like, for little stuff around the house. They're going to have like shelf brackets and fucking like, I like the farm store,
Girls named Rebecca.
Overalls, you know what I mean?
Is Rebecca at the farm store too?
Rebecca, Rebecca with the big set of tits is at the farm store. So let's go look at her. Look at her. But I mean,
I saw a license plate frame today. This is a true story that read "Thick thighs save lives."
Yeah, I do love thick thighs.
I gotta get you that.
That ain't wrong, man. That ain't wrong, man.
All right, so we've covered the boomer with the check. I have one more picture that I just want. I want your take on. So, what you're looking at is my eventual great room. It's a kitchen.
Wow, look at this fucking cavernous mansion,
and it's got high ceilings. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like,
great.
Imagine being the guy who's got to run that ductwork, man. 20 feet. It's 20 feet. It's crazy. I'm looking at this. I'm like,
what you mean the flexible ductwork?
Well, yeah, because it goes up. All of that's going to go up in the rafters.
So okay. So we're looking at a photo of a big cavernous place that still has the outside walls and the stud work and but like a big flexible hose thing is hanging down the ductwork. And Dan is saying he doesn't want to be the guy that's got to get up and down off ladders to like string that through the
ladder. I mean, this is like it's
30 feet tall.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work. I mean, that's going to be a lot of work for sure. Are you keeping the floor plan open on this? Like it's going to look like
yes.
Right?
This is just all this is a kitchen and a living room, and that's it.
Big high ceilings like this.
No wall. Cool. Just you got the kitchen in the back. You got the living room on the other side. Not much, simple. It's not that big, but it's got it's got the big ceilings. But I was like,
that's cool, man. It's cool to have a place with a big. You feel like you've really made it in life. You can have a place with really high ceilings because it's such a waste of space. You know what I mean? Like most people would be like, "Oh, I need to utilize that space, whatever." But it's just to have it open. It does feel good to be in a big room. I know I have as an artist. Whenever I see photos of artists that are doing well in life that have like a converted like small airplane hangar for their studio, and it's just more space than they know what to do with, and I'm like, oh, that rules to be able to move around. Like I like it. I mean, look, the person that's got to run the ductwork, they're going to be moving scaffolding around and do it whatever. I'm sure it's a good job.
Yeah, they probably have. Like I was just like, I walk in there, I'm like, what the fuck? Because there's no ladders or anything in there. They must have taken them out. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, I have one more thing I wanted to show you. Hold on.
But congratulations on your new home coming along.
Well, yeah, we got a ways. It's 6 months off probably, but yeah, it's.
I gotta tell before you put up the. Okay, here we go. Fuck it. What do we got here? What the hell is this?
So it has started.
This is in your RV. I know about.
It has started to get cold, and we are now having nights below freezing. And I was told.
Right.
If you think you're going to approach freezing at night, you need to turn on the tank heaters, which means heating up your shit. That's what that means.
That's definitely what it means.
So I put on the tank heaters, but this is a new thing. Like it's my issue for the past 4 months has been keeping this place cool, and now it's the other way around. Now,
so let me put your okay. So Dan is probably worried. Dan is picturing. Since Dan's new to RV life, that he's got tank heaters for fresh water, for black water, and gray water. And Dan's got this like deluxe RV, and that's why he's got electronic switches for one for every tank, to tank heater. I'll put your fears at rest. There's not going to be a bubbling cauldron of shit down there that's hot and releasing steam. it's going to be just enough heat to keep it from freezing. It's not even going to get
I know. I just thought you get a kick. I like, to me,
it is funny.
Yeah.
But it does take a lot for these things to freeze over. Does your RV have skirting around the outside of it?
No.
Okay, that's the thing. If the RV has skirting, just the tiniest bit of like material that, traps that still air underneath of it, it will help and keep all that shit underneath of there warmer than if it's just as it is now, which is just on axles, and the air can travel. The cold air can travel underneath the.
Yeah, I kind of figured in Florida it's not going to be all that common.
No, it's not going to be common. And you know what? I've lived in trailers many times and had pipes, especially in Utah, had pipes freeze and burst, and it's a problem. But boy, it's not like, oh, at night it's 30 degrees and we're gonna have a problem. I'm here to tell you that you need like 3 days back to back of it being 25 degrees for those things to fucking freeze.
Yeah,
you know
I
what I mean?
figured. I played it safe and I put them on last night. I heated up my shit pretty good.
But I know you heated up your shit. And
bubbling cauldron of shit. Bubbling.
You like that, right? And you might have to use that for the. You might have to use
title. That's our title. Bubbling cauldron of shit.
So if you got that, it's not going to be a bubbling cauldron of shit like you're making a pot of pizzole on the stovetop. It's not like that. It's just going to be like, okay,
it just keeps it warm enough to where you don't get extension of the water.
But that tells me that Dan's got a very high class RV. If he's got these like switches that this guy is like.
Look around. I mean, look at me. This is.
Really.
This is luxury living.
And if you want to go from luxury living to the photo that I sent you to a totally different change in mindset.
Yeah, I have to say I was a little traumatized.
Dan,
I'm looking at something. Let me describe to the audience.
Describe what's going on.
We have a Facebook Marketplace listing of used shoes.
Yeah.
When it says message sent to seller. Which means Bruce has inquired about the used shoes for $10, and I am horrified by the.
I love this
to be fair, the picture doesn't look terrible. You can see a little foot stains going on in a couple.
I love this so much, dude.
It's just all men's 10. Is it $10 each or $10 for all of them?
It's $10 for each pair. So okay, so I sent this to Dan because I know Dan would get such a kick out of this. Like Dan skeeves pretty hardcore at stuff like this, and rightly so. Most people would skeeve at it. And for the goyas that don't know what skeeve means, it essentially means grossed out, right?
Right.
So Dan, so okay, this is interesting, Dan. This is okay. My whole life I've been a size 10 for shoes. And I wear mainly Adidas, and I wear Adidas primarily, and I know that I'm a size 10. That way I can buy them online and stuff like that I'll know they'll fit me, and I don't have to go into a store and buy these things. So I told you recently in a podcast a while ago, I told you that like now they're starting to get snug. I'm like, what the fuck? And I Googled it. I said, hey, Google, you know how you can like say it into the phone? It's the best. Google, do men's feet get bigger with age? And of course, the answer comes up, yes, men's feet do get bigger, and it says that the arc will collapse a little bit. And also it says, quite frankly, after 50, you're going to weigh more than you did when you were 20. I'm like, that's true. When I was 20, I was 135 pounds soaking wet. I'm now ringing in at like 160. Actually, after Thanksgiving, now I'm up to 170. I gained 10 pounds in the past few days, right?
What's wrong with that?
But fuck it, But anyway, so now I'm like, okay, so now I'm looking for a pair of sneakers because I need sneakers. And I will say that like for the past 3 years, I have not worked for my mental health, and I don't give a fuck. And yes, this makes me, there we go. This is a very good photo of the difference of Bruce.
I'm wondering. I mean, looking at this picture, it makes total sense why you're flattened a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because of the heft that's supporting the dude on the right. Your feet are gonna like smush.
You weighed 96 pounds in the picture on the left, and on the right, you're normal. You're not fat. You're just normal weight.
That's a grown man. That's a stuffing eating, roll eating, pizza eating, fucking trough of mac and cheese eating, 55-year-old man.
A trough of mac and cheese.
A trough.
Okay, so all right, so you're now at 10.5. Is that where you're getting at?
Please take this photo down and put the sneakers back up.
All right, hold on.
So anyway, okay, so I went to the mall a little while ago and I realized, okay, Adidas I'm 10.5, I know. But I know that I tried on some Vans because I was looking for Vans that were new in the store, and I wear a size 10 in Vans. And of course, I didn't like the fact that I was at the mall trying on these new shoes. Dan, new Vans at the store are $100. $100. And I'm like looking at Rob. There's no way.
They're not. I just Googled. They're $45.
No, they're not.
I just Googled it. I was curious. Vans.
Well, some of them are 55 and whatever.
$42 for Vans Ward men's shoes. They're lace ups. $42 at Kohl's.
All right. Well, you buy them online. Hopefully they got the right color, whatever. And even I'll say this: 45, 55. I'm like, no, I'm not spending that. I'm not, because now I'm super cheap, dude. So this is what I want to get to.
I mean, for shoes, that's cheap,
dude. I don't give a fuck. Look, I'm not working. This is my year 3 of not working. I have so little money in the bank now. Ro, look, I'm not totally in the trenches. No. I've got investments and shit. I'm retired. I'm not going to work another day in my life. I don't give a fuck. I'm making art and I'm selling it, but for right now, I'm very poor. Like, I don't have much money in the bank at all. And Ro was like, you better make it last to 62. That's when you get your money. And I'm like, all right. So this is where we're at. I'm like, okay, now I find myself looking for used shoes on Facebook Marketplace. Oh and I pull up Van size 10. I search in, I'm a size 10. And this guy is selling this. You can see there he's got he's got like 12 pairs of sneakers. And Dan, okay, this is so funny. So okay, I decide I text this guy. It says sent message to seller.
I gotta know what the fuck. Do you ask him if he had toenail fungus? Like, what do you ask?
No, I didn't ask nothing. I was like, where are you? He's like, I'm in Scottsdale. I'm like, all right.
You love it up there.
Yeah, I hate Scottsdale, right? But anyway, I'm like, $10 is a good deal. And so I text him on the message. I'm like, how fucked up are these things? And then here's the deal. He's a younger kid, and you can tell the reason they're not. If you were able to look close at all these photos, they're not that fucked up. The reason that he's got all these different Vans is because he's one of these kids that was into style, and like the pairs of shoes, like the turquoise sneakers wore it when he had a turquoise hat that matched. You know what I mean? Like, right. Young people will often do this. To be
fair, as used shoes go,
right,
these do not look that terrible.
And
they are still
100%. They're still
used shoes.
But I could tell from the way that they're laced. See how they're all laced, like going sideways, like
right.
Okay, this is clearly a young kid, and I checked his profile. He's not some dirtbag. This guy works as a pharmacist in the hospital. Okay, and I'm like, all right, this guy, which is another whole podcast. I'm like, why is this guy concerned about making $10 if he's working as a pharmacist in a hospital? Which those people make money, Dan.
I know,
right? But that's a whole other
hassle. Thing. So there's 12 pairs, $10, $120. The hassle of getting that $120 and meeting 12 different people, because you're gonna be a pain in the ass. You're gonna show up there,
I thought this whole thing.
You're gonna show up and you're gonna be like, all right, let me look at these. Okay, no, those aren't good.
I don't know if you turn them down, like this guy's wasting his time. I mean, look, if I'm this guy and I'm a pharmacist and I'm 35 years old, I'm throwing all these things right in the trash. Right. I am. Yeah. I'll be honest. And I don't understand this hustle mindset of like, I got to make money no matter what. So anyway, I drive all the way up to the fucking hospital. I'm sitting there. The guys meet me at the hospital. I work all day. I'm a pharmacist. I get there and he's not responding to his texts. I'm sitting in the parking lot of a hospital, Dan, for like 30 minutes, like texting this guy. I'm like, where are you? I'm here. Where are you? I'm here. Finally, I mean, I'm waiting for 35 minutes. Finally, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was with a patient who was coding. Now, I know what that means. I'm like, you're with a patient who is coding, which means he's dying, and he had to like rush pills to some guy, and he's in the hospital, and he's trying to hawk $10 vans to some fucking dirtbag, aka me, in the parking lot. Like, I don't understand any of this, right? And look at me, I look very shuffly. I'm like, this is fucked up. So finally, I'm like, and you should have seen this whole thing. Parking lot of the hospital is enormous. I'm sending him screenshots of where I am. I'm at the north end. Blah, blah, blah. This is going back and forth. And now I'm thinking, like, this is not worth it's worth it for me, but is it worth it for this guy, a pharmacist, who's probably pulling down $100K a year? Easy, right? I got $7,000 in the bank.
So you're like you're in this enormous lot. You're in like Goofy 7, like Disney.
Oh my God, Dan.
And you're telling this guy, I'm over by the entrance to the pathology unit. And there's a red Volkswagen here.
And it's clear that the guy I can't find you. Where are you? I get on a wall. I'm gonna start waving around. He's like, come over to the red tent by the entrance. So I drive over there and I roll up to the guy. Now this guy is like a sort of like a 35-year-old, well put together, Latino guy, right? Yeah. And he is dressed in his farm, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I was late. A patient was coding. I had to get them their meds." And I almost said, "I am Dan." The curiosity almost got. I was like, "What are you doing selling these fucking sneakers, bro? You're a pharmacist.
You really need $120 that bad?
You really need?" And then he had a lot. Is like $10 each, or you can buy the whole lot for $80.
Oh.
So here's the deal. I had you can see the turquoise pair of sneakers up there, Dan. I love turquoise. And I say, oh, I want that turquoise pair of sneakers for $10. Dan, this story goes deeper because I also went to a different lady and got a different pair of sneakers that were new. I know Dan would love this whole sneaker situation. So funny.
So you basically blew a day of your life getting 2 pairs of sneakers.
An entire day, Dan.
Between this guy and the lady.
Okay. So this guy, I finally meet him and he's standing out there and it's clear that he had to take his fucking break from work and he's got he ran through the fucking lobby and he had him inside in his break room or whatever. He's got these 2 big bags, right? And he comes out and he puts them by my car and I start shuffling through them. I'm like, can I try these on? Yeah. So I try them. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I try on the pair of blue. Dan, I wear nice new thick socks, but I got to see if they fit. Right? Dan. So I quick try on the pair of the blue sneakers and I'm like, they fit, right? I didn't walk around. I just quickly put them on my foot. I wanted to see if they fit. I'm like, all right. So the blue pair, I'm like, okay, I want these. And then I go, see the pair on the right that are like two-tone, like blue and light blue?
Yes.
And like, I want these. I look at those. I don't need to try them on. I know that they're whatever. And then I'm like, but then the Heeb, that fucking haggler.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
The haggler in me got
18.
Dan. 18. No. So Dan, so he's selling it for $10, and I know that because he wants to sell the whole lot for fucking $80. I go, I want these turquoise ones. I want these duotone ones. I'm at $20 for these 2 pair, right? He goes, yeah. And then I'm looking at the solid black pair on the bottom, and I go, would you do 3 pairs for $25? He's standing there with his hospital ID badge and his scrubs on and shit like this. And I'm haggling over $10 sneakers, dirty in the parking lot, Dan. And I'm sure his coworker, look, I was more embarrassed for him than me. I'm fine being me. I really am. I'm fine being me. But Dan, I was sitting on the blacktop putting sneakers on my feet. And I bet he had coworkers walking out being like, what's Hector doing selling shoes to this fucking guy? Like, what is going on over there? Hector, do we not pay you enough? I just named him. But I'm like, what is going on? So then Hector goes, all right, I'll take 25 for Dan, it gets worse. I'll take 25 for 3 pairs.
No.
And I'm like, sounds good. I'll do that. No. And he goes, why don't you then Hector goes, why don't you buy all of them for $50? Buy all of them for $50. And I gave it
got them all with him?
Oh yeah, he's got 2 big shopping bags, like fucking one in each hand, and we're talking. And all this is he doesn't have his car. He's on foot, and he's by the entrance of the hospital. His coworkers are walking in and out, seeing this, right? And that's why I'm like, I'm comfortable being me. I don't give a fuck. This guy's got to be embarrassed. He's young. He's got coworkers. He's a fucking pharmacist making. And so I go, no, I can't spend $50 on all these things. I don't really. And then I bust out the money, and then he goes, $40 take them all. $40 take them all. And Dan, I'm like, no, I'm not spending. I don't want 40. Dan, what am I going to do with 12 pairs? I don't need that. I just need a couple pair of sneakers, utilitarian, that I can wear at East Jesus, get paint on them. They're not nice. I just fucking, my feet have a big, and I got to have shoes. And I'm not buying 45 new pairs of shoes to get paint on them. Dan, at least you can agree with me on that. If I'm going to wear these things out for chore day and get paint on them, I'm not spending $50 on a brand new pair of sneakers that's going to get fucked up. Can you relate to me on any level on that?
No.
So anyway,
you know what I do when I want a pair of shoes, Bruce?
You go to the store and you buy them. No, you buy them online.
I get on Zappos. Yeah. I know what brand. I know what size. I press one button and that's it.
You're done.
That's
I spent an entire day, and this is not even talking about the first lady, dude. But like this is so. I walked out of there with 3 pairs of sneakers there for Dan. Look.
Did you clean them?
Okay, now here's the thing. I did the oxy bath, Dan.
Okay, good. All right.
So you get home. Here's what you do. You get home, and this OxyClean. Do you know what this product is? It's fucking great. Huh?
Yeah, of course.
It's great. If you get a 5-gallon bucket and you fill it with water, hot water, and you put a good amount of oxy, more than they tell you to put in, 2 big scoops of OxyClean, and you throw all these sneakers in there and you stir them around, and you let them hang out for a couple hours or a day, bro, it's going to kill everything in there, and it's not going to bleach them. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. All right. This makes me feel, this is the only part of the story I can relate to at all.
Right.
Is that you cleaned the used shoes.
I mean, I'm 100%.
You got the guy's toe jam out of there. You got that with no nail fungus out of there. The boogers fell in the middle of the night. Those are there.
But I agree with you that it is gross that I put his sneakers on my feet right off the bat. But here's the thing. I will say this. The shoes were all immaculately taken care of. Like you could tell, like this guy had them.
Bruce, it's not a Toyota. It's a fucking pair of shoes. Okay. The minute you walk out of the store with a pair of shoes, they are soiled to me. I'm not interested.
Yeah, you're like Jerry Seinfeld, who like has the belt and the belt touched the end of the urinal and he throws the whole belt in the trash.
Yeah, I look, man. I don't consider myself to be a snob, right?
Yeah.
But I have
I
have certain red lines in my life.
Yeah. I don't have.
And used, like, okay, I wouldn't buy used clothes at all. But I could maybe see, like, like a vintage concert shirt or something that you wash really well.
Yeah.
I know for some reason shoes seem worse, and I don't know why.
No, shoes are gross. I mean, because of toe fungus and because, of all that and stuff like that. And you roll the dice.
At least you're not buying used underwear. Like
I would never. No, I don't do that. I told you about that in podcast. So anyway, so this was this guy, but okay. I hate to. All right, Dan, real quick. So before I did this, I ran across in my shoe shopping on Facebook. I ran across a woman who is selling on Facebook Marketplace a pair of Adidas that were brand new, size 10.5. They were red.
In box?
In the box.
Okay.
And they were red and they had the stripes on the side. And she had a lot of photos and showing the bottom of it. You could tell this thing was immaculate, right? And I didn't ask her too many questions, but this was on the day of that I bought these shoes. I met this woman. It definitely a waste of whole day driving around, the entire day, right? So she was selling a brand new pair of Adidas. It said $40. It was marked down to 35. My size, brand new in the box. And like, I do like a pair of new shoes that I wear when I do things with the Banditos, because I like to look crisp on that day. You know what I mean? And I like to wear red and have like the whole outfit together. It's the one time that I really give a shit about my appearance. And so she had these red sneakers. They were Adidas. They were the right kind and all this. And I knew these things are 65. So I'm like, 35, that's good. So I text her. We meet at a gas station. She drives up. Dan, we meet at a gas station. And and I know she's looking at me like, this guy's a problem, right? I can tell, right? Like, I'm the problem, right? Like, this guy, who the fuck is buying sneakers? So, but mind the way, she goes, I'm in the Bronco. I'm in the blue Bronco. And I look around the parking lot. There is a brand new blue Bronco, like one of these brand new ones that just dripping with money, right? And again, with the guy with the pharmacist, like, why is she selling shoes? She's driving a brand new Bronco. This vehicle costs $50,000. Why? That's more money than I would make in a year on my best day. Like, and so she gets out of the car. She's got kids in the back of the car. And she comes out with the box. I'm like, hi, I'm Bruce. Hi, I'm whatever. So I got it. I'm like, what's the story? That's what I say. What's the story here? She's like, my husband was shopping for stuff and she needed to spend another $30 to get the free shipping. We got these shoes for my teenager. He's a freshman in high school. We got them. And of course, like the kids that age, Mom, I don't like these. And that story jives, Dan.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That story jives. And I looked in the back of the kid and there's the kid back there. And he's just like this fucking mop-headed, broccoli-headed fucking playing on his phone. And I'm like, the story tracks. I just want to know the story and the story tracks, right? So she goes, okay, here they are in the box. So again, I'm the problem because I get down and I sit down on the blacktop and put my feet and put my fucking feet. I'm like, can I try them on? She's like, yeah. So I put them right on and they're on my feet for no more than 2 seconds. And I'm like, sold. And I get up and I give her the money and we chat a little bit and off I go. So at the end of the day, for 25 there and 20 for $50, I've got 4 pairs of sneakers. One of them's brand new. 3 of them are going to be beaters, and my whole shoe situation is taken care of. Whereas before, my feet got bigger. I had no pairs. I was wearing flip flops out and about. It's cold out here. I had no fucking because my feet got big. So that's the whole story there. And I had to tell you that because I knew Dan would be like. Dan, like I was driving around from one place to the other going, I have a friend named Dan who would like, doesn't understand, like would not do this.
No, I mean, my time is too valuable to me, man. I mean, I know you got to spend more. I know all that, but like, I couldn't just shit can a day of my life.
I had a lovely day, Dan. I drove around. I got a bagel.
I like the bagel.
Drove around in the car. I stopped at a few yard sales. Looked through them.
Yeah, this is you and I have met much in common. This is one of those things we do not have in common. That's okay.
No.
Okay, so it makes it fun.
Yeah.
I'm heating up shit tanks, and
you're buying cauldron of shit,
and you're buying used shoes. So
yeah. Facebook Marketplace. But I just found the second guy was nuts, and I thought about it though because it was a long. By the way, it's a half an hour drive one way to get to fucking.
The thing that always amazes me when I see people doing that is look, I'm not that bad. Like I have used Facebook Marketplace. I got a new lawnmower, and I have this other lawnmower, and I'm not gonna throw away a lawnmower, right? It's a riding lawnmower.
Yeah,
that I sold on Marketplace, right? That's worth my time. That was like $1,500, whatever it was I got for it. That's worth my time.
Yeah.
But like I see people that I know and these are people who make good money, right? Like child's bookshelf, $12. Like why? Because you know what's going to happen. Guys like Bruce are going to contact you, right?
Right. And then you got to answer a lot of dumb questions, and they might not buy it.
And they're going to haggle. I unequivocally will not. It is not worth my time. I don't want to deal with these people. No, mower's one thing. $1,000, that's one thing. 100%. Yeah. But for $12, like what's the minimum?
I admit I don't see that. Like that's the thing. Like for the guy with the $10 sneakers, I was kind of. I was definitely more embarrassed for him than me. I really was.
You know what it is, though? A lot of times it's not so much that they need the money or they're having money problems or whatever. There's this weird, it's almost like a personality trait in some people where they just have to collect some money for this. Even like for me, if that were me, I don't have 12 pairs of shoes.
Trust me, if it were me, I would throw them right in the trash. Well, I really would.
If they were in good shape, I wouldn't throw them away. I'd give them away. I'd donate them.
Maybe Goodwill.
I would donate them. I would take them to one of those church boxes and put them in the box. Whatever. But like, I'm not gonna waste my time over, in this case, $120.
Right.
I mean,
well, it's funny. Okay, it's funny that all right, that same day I sold something on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh no.
But listen to how I roll with this. So you're gonna like this. So I'm trying to clean up I find one of these big yellow and black bins in my shit, and it's one of those big yellow and black bins, you know, the containers, and it's filled with old parts to my Chevy truck that I don't have anymore. There was a starter in there. There was a fucking electronic distributor cap in there, thermostats. There was a lot of different parts that go to this Chevy. Some were sort of working, some weren't. I mean, it was just a mixed bag, but it was a lot of different parts in there. And I was thinking, I want to throw this all in the trash, but someone else that I know Chevy dudes. Look, I was a Chevy dude. I know somebody.
That's different because that's an old that's a popular thing now.
But here's the thing, Dan. I listed I wish I had the ad. It said box of parts, blah blah blah, bin included. Don't ask me a bunch of questions. It's $30. Now that price was so dead low for the items that were in there. There were two exterior radiator fans in there that alone is worth $70, and I know they worked. That's just one of the many things were in the box. So I just like, you know what? Before I throw it in the trash, let me try Facebook Marketplace.
Let me get some asshole contact you and wanted it for $25.
No, it went really well. It went really well. It sat and did nothing for a while. Then the phone, you know, and some dude was like, I'll come get him right now. He saw the value in it. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, fuck this. I'll get him. So some dude, it was hassle-free. He showed up. He's like, yep, I'll take it. And he hands me $30. And then we just shot the shit for a little bit.
I'm amazed because what I have found is that no matter how cheap you put something, I could list a new fucking Corvette on Facebook Marketplace for $9.
Yeah.
And someone would still say, will you take $7?
Like, Dan, I wanted to avoid that.
Yeah,
so I know that this lot that I was selling was worth at least $100. I swear to God, the starter, the fans, everything in there, at least $100. But I was like, I hate that dealing with that so much. Let me cut down the price to 1/3.
I know, but I've found there is no point.
There's no bottom.
There is none.
Well, I mean, listen, I was gonna. It said
if you would put free. Someone's going to come to you and say, give me $1 and I'll take it.
So no, but my ad said, look, the ad was written funny. It's like annoyed. Yeah. It's like, don't ask a bunch of questions. It's $30. You know, no, I won't haggle. It's $30. Yeah. And some dude read the tone. Some dude read the tone and showed up and just like knew that I was,
God bless.
All right, $30. And then whatever. That was my day.
Well, God bless that guy. So I want to have one other thing, small. I just would like to I'm going to make a recommendation. If anyone here has HBO or Max or whatever the hell it's called now, I watched this the other day. It's the Yacht Rock documentary.
Nice.
I love music documentaries, and this was really, really good. It was of that 70s and 80s period, you know. And,
I love it. I love that.
And, you had a lot of awesome session players back then, like guys who would play. These are guys who would get hired to play on hundreds and hundreds of albums, like the drummer Jeff Porcaro. He was just all over the place. Steve Lukather,
a lot of heavy studio work back in those days.
Yeah, and this documentary is really good, but there's one part of it that I wanted to tell you about, which was the guy who made the documentary wanted to interview Donald Fagen from Steely Dan,
right?
And the director was able to get him on the phone and said, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm directing this documentary."
Donald Fagen's got to be super old at this point.
He's the guy in our intro, the Jewish singing guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So Steely Dan is sort of, no matter what you think about their music, they're known to be kind of like snob rock, right?
Absolutely.
And I like some of their music. I don't really pay a ton of attention to them, but I found this interesting. The guy gets him on the phone.
Yeah.
He says, "Hi, my name's so-and-so. I'm doing this documentary and about this, genre of music in that day, that from the 70s and blah, blah. I'm wondering if you wanted to talk about all the stuff you did." He goes, what genre is that? And the guy goes, "Yacht rock." And there's a silence. And the guy goes, "Go fuck yourself," and hangs up.
Hold on. The guy from Steely Dan did not like his shit being called yacht rock?
No. Now look, this was addressed in the documentary by many others, like Michael McDonald, who's in the picture there. They flat out said, look, I didn't love the title when I first heard it, but who gives a shit what you call it? If people
I'm
are
sorry. I
interested,
mean, these times change. People come up with new terms for shit, and that's what are you gonna do?
nothing. Exactly. And the
Really,
bottom
who
line is
cares?
it's giving new life and a new audience to your music who might not have
Yes.
seen it before, heard it before. And it's just so on brand for the Steely Dan guy to tell him to fuck off. When you had all of these huge musicians like Michael McDonald,
They were
Christopher
just
Cross,
going along with it,
who are happy
embracing
to
it.
get interviewed and talk about it and
Yeah,
whatever.
that's
And
so funny.
yeah, no, it's, I know you would probably don't have HBO, but maybe I'll give you a login to mine so you can see it.
I
It's
would, you
good.
know what? I would love a login to HBO because also there's a new login to, I think it's Hulu's got a package where they have a new Dune miniseries that I'm dying to watch.
That is on
That's on
no, that's on
Hulu,
HBO. There's a
but it's like an
Dune.
HBO add-on or some shit.
HBO has a Dune series, not a movie, but a series. Like
Yeah.
it's on. Yeah, I'll give you a login.
Oh, I would love to watch that.
You got to watch the Yacht Rock, man. It's
I
good
will.
shit.
So let me tell you, I unironically love yacht rock,
I do
and
too.
I really do. And when the term came out, I realized what it was. But I have a Spotify set list that I like to listen to, and it's just called it used to be called AM Gold, right? Like back
Yeah,
in the day, we would
yeah.
call shit AM Gold,
Easy
and
listening,
it's just
damn
like these
gold.
kind of deep. Some of them are deep cuts. You know what I mean? Like songs that weren't really super kind of one hit wonder-ish, but like gentle and just really well written songs. And a lot of it had a heavy cocaine influence, but just like, you're right. Back in those days, it was all about the studio, right? Like the studio was the shit. And these dudes were studio musicians. They didn't have Pro Tools or anything.
No.
You had to be a really good studio musician,
Yeah,
excellent
yeah, yeah, yeah.
meter,
And
and take
these
one,
guys,
don't
Bruce,
fuck up.
played on hundreds and
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, some case thousands of
Yeah.
records that you don't even know they're not in the band or anything, but they're used in studio work. And
And
like Thriller, the Michael Jackson's Thriller,
oh
the
yeah.
band that recorded that was basically Toto. Those were
Yeah.
the musicians, and they also did the Doom soundtrack in '83 or whatever it
Yeah, I
was.
remember.
Yeah.
So the thing is like, again, without Pro Tools, it'd be all right, take one. And you get the guitarist in the room and he's listening to the other tracks on his headphones. He's got to go through that whole song and not make one fucking mistake because there's no piecing it together. Like
No.
maybe brutal, but like, these guys had to be really fucking good. And now you don't need to be a good musician to be good in the studio. But there was the heyday, and I will watch this. I really like, what a fool believes.
Well, that's so that is
fucking,
they specifically mentioned that being like the number one. If you had
it
to pick
is.
one song that encapsulates the genre, that's it. And I didn't know this. You might know this. Kenny Loggins co-wrote that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know
And
that.
there is, so not only that, yacht rock is a big thing. There is a band out here in Arizona. They might be more national. They're called Yachtly Crew, not
Yeah, no,
Motley
I
Crue.
saw it. They were on the documentary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
They play out here a lot and they draw big fucking crowds.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they get out there and they wear the fucking hat. They wear the white and the yacht outfit, the hat. It's genius, right? And they get out there and they play the songs. I'm like, oh man.
That's what good stuff back then, man. I mean, the musicianship back then, it's just so good. I mean,
They're good. I'll definitely I fucking love yacht rock, dude. I love these songs, man. And
yeah,
it's a lot of
I'll
like
give you a login, man. You
it's
can
a lot
watch
of these
you can
white
watch
guys.
your Dune series, and you can watch
Oh, I would love. Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap it. I am went to a football game last night, out of town, a little tired. So it's a rare Saturday night out for me. So
I got this weird thing happen. Real quick story. I got this thing where I let it be known. Speaking of musicians, I let it be known to the guys in the Grateful Dead cover band in that whole community. They're like, look, if you need me, I'm ready to drum. I got a drum set. I got an open schedule. I don't need a lot of money. I want stage time. I know the catalog. I can play any Grateful Dead song. Let's go. And they're like, okay, whatever. Yesterday, my phone rings kind of early, and it's like the keyboard player of the Noodles, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm putting together. So I got a gig for tonight. It's a long shot, but you want to play tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I know not to ask too many questions, not to be a schnurr. And so I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he's like, all right. So then he's working on it. Then he texts me back later when I'm waiting for the sneakers in the fucking hospital parking lot. And he's like, yeah, it fell through. It didn't work out. But I told him, I said, dude, I appreciate you thinking about me, and I'll do it at another time. Because it was going to pay $100, which would have paid for a lot of used dirty sneakers, Dan. So
yeah, that keeps you in sneakers for a year. Yeah. Or more. Yeah. Stay tuned for next week to see what used socks Bruce goes for.
I'm not going to get used. I would know. No, not used socks. Nothing that touches the skin like that.
All right, we're going to wrap it. But thanks for tuning in. Again, 45 episodes in the can. Heeb and Goy, we would like to welcome you. Heeb and Goy, one Gentile and a Jew. Heeb and Goy, two old men who like to complain. Heeb and Goy,